So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to work through using CODAP. So just to be clear that if you're in this session, that's because you want to look at CODAP. And I just want to make some acknowledgements to start with. And I'd like to acknowledge that this here is based on the Netlogo simulation from Bill Finzer and Jan Mockross have been the people working on it. So Bill is at CODAP and Jan is at Turk. And they've been doing some work with some students and data clubs. And this is where it comes from. There was a whole session on it about a week or so ago. But it also, the Netlogo simulation that we're going to look at comes from the Northwestern University in the US. It's been embedded in CODAP and it's free. And that's probably the key thing that I want to tell you. And I'm going to just paste that link now into the chat so that you can go in there when I find my chat. Okay. Hopefully this is coming to you all. And then you can go and you'll be able to go into it in a minute. All right, so I'm going to, what am I going to do? What we're going to do in this session is I'm just going to talk to you for a little bit and then I'm going to stop my script, stop sharing, and then you can go and have a play. So the plan is it's a workshop. You're going to do some playing rather than me talking to you. But I just want to start by introducing you to the model. So this model is a little bit to the one that that Gail was showing you. So I'm just going to, can I just ask if people could mute just for a moment? Because I just was getting a bit of feedback and it puts me off, sorry. So this one here is, it doesn't work on the random number generation, it works on a location. And so I'm just going to push setup to show you what happens when we go in. And you can see when I click setup, we've got there at the moment some blue peeps and some red peeps. And the thing that's really nice about this model later on is you can actually go in and you can find all the information about it down there. But I'm going to just introduce you briefly to the information that's here. So to get started, you click setup, and then to make it happen, you click go. And I'm not going to click go yet, but I'll do that in a moment. And this slider at the top is the speed that we can show the model. So if we're explaining it to students, we might want the model to go quite slowly. And then once we're underway, we might want it to go quite quickly. So we're getting our data faster. All right. So that's like that slider. So the setup button each time would reset us for a new simulation and we press go. And then the number of people is our population. And I'm going to suggest that for what we're going to do together, that we don't change anything to start with, that we just all work with the same one because we want to share something. So anyway, the number of people, this can go from 0 to 300. And you'll see at the moment that all but 2 of the people are blue. So we've got 2 infected people and 198 who are not. And then the next one is the percentage starting immune. So Gail talked about 10, but at the moment in this model, we're starting with 0 immune, and that can go from 0 to 100. And then the infectiousness, or the R0 value, is a slider. And at the moment, that's set to 4. And we're going to stick with that for what we're going to do today. But it can be adjusted from 0. I'm not sure how high, and I don't want to play right at the moment. But in this little reference table here, it gives you some ideas of some of the recent pandemics or recent viruses we've had around, what their R0 values are. And then the chance recover slide controls the likelihood that an infection will end in recovery and immunity. And when this slider is set at 0, the infection is always deadly. So at the moment, this is set at 73, which is probably a bit lower than our current situation with COVID. But again, for what we're going to do today, we're going to just leave that. And then the duration is the number of days before the infected person either dies or recovers. All right, now in Gail's model, it was 1 day, but we're going to leave it at the 20. All right, so those are just the sliders. Now, with the little people, you'll see in a minute, they start to move around, and how people get infected is by being in proximity of an infected person. And when they become immune, they turn grey. And if they die, they actually disappear from the screen. Okay, so I'm just going to just click go and show you how it works. So you can see the people are moving around, and we're starting to get more red people as they're getting infected, and we can see some grey people are turning up now. Okay, so if you're explaining it to students, you can actually stop it by clicking the go button. And so at the moment, we can see there's quite a lot of red infected, blue, and our grey for our immune. Now, you may have noticed that in this little graph here, that something's happening. So as we're going along now, this graph is showing us the number that are sick and the duration in days. And actually what's also happening here in this table is it's collecting the data as we go along. So I'm just going to click, I'm going to speed it up a little bit and just click go again. And we can see that's, all right. So that's one simulation, and fortunately today my computer seems to be working a bit faster, but we can see now this is the graph showing the number that was sick each day from 1 to the 94 days, right? And in this top bit, we've got our run, our first run, we've got our initial population. So this is basically the information that's in the green sliders is here. And then if we click through this, we actually will get each of the bits of data for the 94 days. And then to run it again, I simply click set up and click go. All right, and we can see now that we've got a new graph being drawn and the data is being collected for the new simulation. All right, so what I want to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I think a lot of people find it easier to work on their own. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go in and open up the simulation if you haven't already, and I'd like you to do 10 runs. All right, so just open it up and do 10 runs. So don't change anything, just go set up and go, set up and go, set up and go till you've got 10 runs on the board. Okay, if you've got questions, I'll be here and just put your hand up or unmute and talk to me.
Yeah, it's Jane. I don't know where to find the
link
application. Were we supposed to have downloaded it or something?
No, I'll put it back in the chat. It may have just been that you. I'll put it in the chat. There we go. It's in the chat for you.
Okay, sorry, I missed that one. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. So the link to the simulation is in the chat. Excuse me.
It's loading, so thank you.
Great. Okay, I just want to touch base and just check if most people got 10 runs on the board now. And if you haven't, then just keep clicking set up and go. And I'm going to bring us back just to start to think about some questions. So what I should have got you to do at the beginning was to predict how many days on average to immunity do you think you'll get over your 10 simulations. And maybe you might want to just have a think now about what that might be. How many days? But now let's think about what things we might be interested in exploring with this data. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again. I've got one question come up here. Okay, so is the only way you can tell how many died in the remaining population? So one of the things we might be interested in is the number of people who died as a possible thing we might be interested in. Any other ideas about things that we might be interested in finding out? Okay, all right, so we've got stunned silence, that's okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. Firstly, if I click here, I can show all. There we go. So I can click on show all and I can see all of the runs that I had. So we can get a pretty picture there. And I can click on hide all. And then if I click on the cross, it just shows me the last. So we've got some things we might want to find out more about the thing. So one of the things we might want to know is how many people died. We might want to know what is the remaining population. We also might want to start to do some analysis of how many days. All right. So to do that, we want to create some new variables that we can start to graph. And I've got a little cheat sheet that I'm going to give you. I'm going to copy the link and paste it in the chat. But I'm also going to quickly show you how we can add a new variable into CODAP. So I'm going to assume some of you know how to do that. And if you do and you're happy, just go ahead. But if you're not sure, let me just show you. So this is what's in the Google Sheet that I've just shared with you. But if I'm doing it here, I click on the table and the variables I want to add in are for a run or for a simulation, not one of the days. So I want to add a new variable or attribute and say the attribute I want to look at is the final population. So I'm going to rename the attribute that I want to do. So final population, we've got initial there as 198. So I then click back on this and I'm going to edit the formula. And when I edit the formula, that will give me the final population for everything for every run. So all I'm interested in, if I want the final population, is last. And see, when I start typing last, it pops up. And then I want to go last population. All right, and see the word population. So I can see population here. This is the attribute down the bottom I want to get the last of. Now, the key thing here is if I've got the formula right, it's in blue, and if I've got the variable right, it's in pink. So I always find it's best to just start to type the variable name and then select it from the list because capitals count. So if I type population with a lowercase p, it wouldn't have found it. And then I click apply. And now you can see here, I've got final populations coming, and that ranges from 165 to 198. And then what I can do is I can click graph, and I can now actually graph the final population. All right. So that's now given me the final population for my 10 runs. Now, in the new variable sheet, we've shown you 3 variables that you can do. So final population, duration to herd immunity, and the number of deaths. So those are the formulas there that you type in. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to allow you to make those new variables and then graph them, whichever ones you want. You might only choose to look at one of them. And then once you've had a chance to do that, we're going to come back together and then look at what are we going to change to see how that impacts on our numbers. All right, so hopefully you've found, you could just collect the peaks or maximum days. So if there's other things you want to try and do, you'll just need to put a new variable in that top part of the table. So I'll give you 5 minutes. And remember, just ask me questions if you're not sure. Leha.
Yes, I'm not sure exactly how to create the new variables.
Okay, so you've got find the table that says virus simulation data and click on that. I'll share my screen again. People, you'll just have to minimize it if you don't want to see it. I'll just share it. So Saliha in here, so you've got this virus simulation data table.
Where is it exactly?
So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so we've got the simulation, we've got the graph,
yes,
and then we've got this table.
Okay, yes.
If you click on the table, a little grey plus turns up, and you click a plus and the new attribute arrives. So I can type in the attribute I want, duration. And I'm following.
Can I share my screen?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I'll stop sharing. Hopefully you can share.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody else, you'll just have to hide it.
So this is the table, and
click on the plus, the little grey plus. On the left-hand side. No, go back, click on that table again. Yeah, by the word run, see the word run?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little plus.
The plus. Okay.
Okay, click on that, there you go.
All right. And what should I type here?
What attribute do you want to find? Final population, type final population. Okay, and then click on the attribute again. So click on that word, click off, you need to click off, hit enter.
Okay.
Right, and now click on the word final population. Yep, and click edit formula. Okay, start typing last, L-A-S-T. Okay, select that blue, click on the blue bit below. Yeah, and now start typing population. Click on population, the word, and click apply. Okay, all right, and now if you click on graph, the little graph icon up on the top left, go up along the top, click on graph. Okay, and now if you says click here or drag an attribute down the bottom of your graph. Yeah, click and drag that into that's it. Click, drag it, drop. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I had 7 simulations.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the final.
You can do some more. So put that graph to the side and then you can do some more. All right. And do you want to stop screen sharing?
Yes. Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, we're going to stop there with my timer. So what we're going to do now is hopefully everybody's had a chance to make a graph of one sort or another. Let me just share. Okay, so those of you that are not familiar with CODAP, one of the things that we can find is that these, if I highlight this, start highlighting, yeah, no, it doesn't. Anyway, I won't go there. One of the things we do find with CODAP is things are interconnected. All right, I'll show you in a minute. So what we've done is we want to try and keep as much as we can of here the same, but we want to run another simulation with changing one of the things that we can impact on. So if we think about our population, can we change our population? We're still going to have the same. So which one of these things could we change? Okay, so I've got percentage that start immune, somebody suggested. Okay, so we can start looking at the percentage that start immune, or in New Zealand, we talk about the percentage vaccinated. It's a very, very hot topic in New Zealand as we're heading for our 90% mark before we're allowed out of lockdown. Okay, so let's say that what we can do is we can all change the percentage starting immune. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this a little bit more strategically. So I can change my percentage starting immune by clicking the little dragger here, and I can drag it up to whatever number I want. But I'm going to suggest that we're a little bit more strategic, and we're going to work together as a group, and we're going to have a couple of people do 10, a couple of people do 20, and so on. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment, and I'm going to assign you. So I'm going to say, Henrique and Mohammed, can you do 10%? Sybil and Pete, can you do 20? Amy and Steiner, can you do 30? Saliha and Kate, can you do 40? Eva and Pat, can you do 50? Mark and Azita, can you do 60? Gianpaolo and Eliza, can you do 70? Rema and Jane, can you do 80? And Zulahia and I will do 90%. So I'll just share my screen quickly. So what I'm going to do, because I'm doing a 90%, is I'm going to change my percentage starting immune to 90. And you can just adjust by the little arrows. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up and I'm going to run my model again. Okay. And
how do we clear all the old data from our prior runs?
We're not clearing the old data. We want to keep.
We're not? Okay.
Keep the old data because we want to compare. Okay. And then you're going to do your 10 runs. And then what I want you to do is I want you to click and drag the percent starting immune onto the side. But if you see how I've got my mouse little hand here, if I click on this, I can treat it as categorical. And then what I get is I get a 0% and a 90%. Okay, and I've only got final population up here. I could quickly make a duration. I'll make a duration graph. So what I want you to do, I've put the link in the chat, I'll put it back in there, is I want you to do your 10 simulations for whatever thing you're interested in. And then I've shared a link to this one. If you can put your name and the percentage starting immune, and then if you can just copy and paste your graphs in there, that would be great. And then anything you notice. All right. So I hope that makes sense. I'll stop sharing. I'll let you play. And if you can do your simulations and then paste in there, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Pip, it's Jane. I don't know how to get back to my CODAP. I just click back on the one that you gave us before?
Yeah, if you just go back into the one you've done your original 10 on, what we want to do is another 10. So we've got both of them together that we can analyse.
No, I'm not going back to the right place somehow. I've got a thing that says sign in as if I'm starting all over again.
You should
What
have
have I
a
done wrong?
one that says COVID Netlogo simulation open still somewhere.
Okay, yeah, I've got that. I've got a thing that says sign in. That's just taking me to.
Oh, were you trying to save it?
I don't know what I'm trying to do. Sorry.
Can you share your screen?
Oh, I think I'm just about ready to. Okay, I'm now back on. I think I'm back on the one that I had in the first place because I was very slow in the first place. So I'm just going to go back and do my 10 faster.
Okay. And then you can change your percentage immune and then do another 10.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try. I think I'm your slow learner today, but I'll have a go. Thank you.
Okay. We are trying to do quite a bit in a short amount of time. Okay, if you haven't, you probably want to take your graphs over now because we've only got 3.5 minutes left before they boot us out.
So how we can make the categorical?
Oh, so when you click on the graph, if you put your cursor over the name, it should start to look like a hand. And if you click when it looks like a hand, it says treat as categorical. You select treat as categorical. Did that work?
No.
Going to share your screen. Okay, so see where you've got the percentage starting immune down the bottom. Put the little, no, on the graph.
This one?
On the graph.
On the graph, this one. Okay.
Yeah, click.
This?
Yeah, put that up there. That's it. You want to put it in the y-axis. Over a bit. Over a bit, go right. You want to click it so it's sitting on the y-axis where those words are, and it goes a colour. Go to your right slightly.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Middle?
There you go. No.
This is...
Yeah, there you go.
No.
Let go. Unclick. Yeah. Okay, now click on that word percent starting immune. Yeah. Yeah, with the hand click and click on treat as categorical.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And if you can stop sharing and
accidentally.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. You've got 3. That's fine. You've got 3 different things there. Okay.
Okay. No. Where should we share it?
Okay. So I put a link in the chat for where to share it, but I'll put it in again. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly share my screen. And just before you disappear, you'll be able to come back to this, and then you can hopefully, if people have put their different ones in, we can see the different graphs that people have created. Okay, so the idea would be that over time, we'd be able to have all the different ones between, so there's a 30, and that we can have a look through and see what they look like. Okay, so I did have mine in there, but it's disappeared. All right. Okay, so here's mine down here, number 77. Don't know what I was doing down there. Okay, so we're going to disappear in about 16 seconds back to join everyone else. So hope that you had some fun with that and that you'll be able to go away and do some further playing with yourself. All right, see you back there.
Thank you, Pam.
Bye.